third is just the third command center is just about to finish for nuclear. Notice how he has kind of like a wall in here with a bunker and a engineering bay along with some supply depots. So great building location and placement from nuclear, and also from Next Life. Once you get to this level, they just know, like, they're so used to doing that, and it looks like the drop ship actually might be taken out here with these Mutalisks, and it does, and not able to reduce. I'm assuming he's trying to drop some Marines on this low ground, but not in time, as these Mutalisks do take out the full dropship. But we do have a push here from nuclear. He is going to be moving out into the center of the map and trying to rally his forces. We have a lot of Banelings being produced right now, 14 Banelings on the way, and it looks like, as you can see, the supply, it looks like Next Life is substantially ahead in supply, but since Zerg army is quite weaker, I'd say they're about even right now. But it looks like if he still does not have siege for these tanks. I don't know why he didn't get siege for these tanks, but these Banelings are just going to annihilate these forces. And if he had been able to siege his tanks, it might have been a different story. But the Banelings come in, and the Mutilars are going to be cleaning up. But unfortunately for Next Life, he actually wasted most of the Banelings on these siege tanks, so he was left with just Mutalisks to kill the Marines. So if he had brought in the Banelings out into the Marines and the Mutalisks onto the siege tanks, that would have could have worked a little better for him. So a little bit of mismicro there maybe, but both players still producing more Mutalisks. We got 32 Lings on the way, along with some Mutalisks. It looks like Next Life is going to try and push out here to see if there is a third going down, and indeed there is. Looks like for nuclear is going to be pushing his forces down to the middle here, and he doesn't have any Banelings, so and he does actually have some Banelings coming in from the back, making their way over slowly but surely. And these Mutalisks and Zerglings are going to have a tough time taking out these Marines. You get these Medivacs healing their Marines, and these Mutalisks need to get out of there because they're just going to get shredded. He doesn't have any upgrades for the Mutalisks. He does have Zerg Flyer attacks level 1 on the way. And he's still continuing to produce Lings and Banelings. Well, nuclear reinforces his third with the Planetary Fortress. The fourth is completed for Next Life, and he does have his rally point set out in the middle here, so I think he's still going to try and do some sort of attack. And let's take a look at the income tab, and now he finally does have siege finished. You can see that Zerg player Next Life has 83 harvesters over 50, and these forces here are just going to get wiped out. The Zerg player getting a little bit overextended there, I would say. These siege tanks reinforcing the back, and the Mutalisks flying over the Marines in the front. So this is going to be pretty hard to take down for Next Life. I think he's actually got a nice little wrap around the center part here with these siege tanks, and so it's going to prevent Next Life from being able to kind of get into the natural, and also he's going to be an easy move for him to bring these other siege tanks around to this area from the back to defend the third. So great defense by nuclear, and it looks like Next Life might make another attack here. He's got quite a few Mutalisks. He's throwing down an infestation pit, and looks like nuclear is going to make a smart move here. He actually has a armory going up, so it looks like he's going to try and get out some Thors and maybe some upgrades here. Some Next Life saturating the fourth right now. His economy is just through the roof. And let's take a look back over the income tab. He has 86 harvesters, and that's actually, I would consider, a little too many, especially for this map. 86, usually 75 is about the best number. As you can see, his 2,300 minerals coming in, and that his economy is just completely through the roof right now. Nuclear is a little bit behind. He's actually substantially behind, but Next Life has to be careful, because when you get that many drones, it starts pumping, it's cutting into your supply line. So he is 180 out of 208 now, and nuclear is slowly catching up. He's about to 160 right here. Quite a few Mutalisks for Next Life. I think that's smart, because he knows that nuclear has quite a few siege tanks, and this is a problem here with having that many drones. Is that it is cutting into his supply, and now that the attack's going to ensue, there's a lot of siege tanks here, so this could be a scary push for nuclear. Alright, so I had to pause there real quick. Do have a little bit of a cold right now, so I had to grab a quick glass of water. But anyways, this attack here from Next Life, you get these siege tanks in the back. He's bringing the Marines around the front. They are going to prove pretty hard to deal with for Next Life. He's got 3 burrowed Banelings here, but they're not going to be able to do too much. and he's continuing to produce more and more Zerglings and some more mutas as well. So bringing out some infestors could be an interesting move, trying to use some fungal growth maybe on these Marines, and looks like Nuclear is going to throw down a 4th here. Looks like Nextlife might try and do some sort of flank attack into the natural of Nuclear, and this might be a good idea, but it looks like Nuclear does spot it. He's bringing his forces back, so he's going to be able to defend this, I think. Has a lot of Mutalisks, and the Marines are going to be able to make it back into the front, though. So both players just about, looks like Nextlife is nearing max, and then Nuclear's about 170 right now, so Nextlife is now max at 200 of 200. And he's got some continue to get upgrades on the way. He does have a hive coming out, and it looks like he was barely able to siege those tanks. It's a pretty risky maneuver sometimes to bring all your tanks at once. It's generally not a good thing to do, and it looks like Nextlife is going to be producing a lot of banelings here. It looks like the siege tanks, so that could have been a bad move for Nuclear. He was just testing the water here, but Nuclear does have his tank sieged in the back, so I'm producing some more banelings here on Nuclear, and he's got a 5th going down in the gold here, as well as and looks like here's a draw play from Nuclear, but Nextlife smartly does have these spine crawlers there, so he is able to hold that off without really taking much damage. And so both of these players taking over this map. This is a pretty small map. There are not many more places to expand to. So this map is not going to provide very much more room once these bases get mined out. And it looks like Nextlife has a ton of minerals being stockpiled right here. So he has 4,000 minerals. And looks like Nuclear is going to push out into the middle of the map. He does throw down a scan, which is very smart, looking for those burrowed banelings there, and always anticipating. That's what these pros are great at, anticipating the other players' moves. And looks like Nextlife is going to be pushed into the middle here. Here we go. This is the battle we've been waiting for, and these siege tanks are just destroying these banelings. But these Mutalisks are right on these siege tanks, so the siege tanks, most of the siege tanks are actually going to go down. It looks like the mutas are still over these siege tanks on the right side, but all is left is Marines on the left side. So I would say that it's good choice by Nextlife to pull these back. If he had lost all these Mutalisks, it could have been very deadly, but he lost mostly Zerglings along with some Mutalisks, and he was able to kill a number of siege tanks there. So I would say Nuclear maybe a little ahead after that battle, but Nextlife has 72 Zerglings queued up. That's the thing about having this many expansions, this many minerals. He is going to lose this gold expansion here, and some drones coming over here to meet their demise by the siege tanks, just getting annihilated there. Alright, so Nextlife trying to do some sort of flank attack. The defense here is making it almost impossible for him to move in, do something like that. But he is going to be able to take out some SCVs in the siege tank here, and the planetary fortress is reinforced over here. So these SCVs trying to run for their lives while these Zerglings come in the back, and the few of them are going to actually make it. Nuclear bringing over his forces here, and these Zerglings are... Oh, and he actually does bring his Zerglings right through the center of the forces here instead of around the side, so a few of them are going to get taken out there. Throwing down another hatchery in his main, and he's got +3 weapons, and it looks like we're going to see some Ultralisks on the way, which I think is a great decision. But he does not have very much Vespene gas, and he's continuing to produce banelings, and unfortunately for Nextlife, he really doesn't have anywhere else to expand to. These gold expansions are super hard with these spawn locations to take, and so it's going to be very hard for Nextlife to get any more minerals or any more saturation on any other bases. So I think this is about where he's at right now. These Marines getting a good scout off, but sacrificing themselves along the way. So taking one for the team there. And it looks like Nuclear Nextlife continuing to run around the map, trying to find a way to get up into one of these expansions here. He could try and do a little flank play here, and it looks like he's going to bring the Mutalisks over, and this is the harassment that he's needed to do to try and get an advantage here. But this massive ball of tanks, medevacs, and Marines is going to be very hard to deal with. These Zerglings, and it looks like he might be actually going for a base trade here. It looks like they are going to be going for a base trade, and the Zerglings here are going to be kind of getting taken out by this planetary fortress. 3 Ultralisks on the way, and this army right here is going to be very hard for Nuclear to stop, or to Nextlife to stop. These guys have similar names, and I keep mixing them up, so we're going to continue to try and get that correct. The Ultralisk Tavern Cavern is going to be taken out down the Ultralisk Tavern, where they can go to drink and annihilate Marines. So the the third base and the natural are getting bashed on by these Zerglings, while this giant force of Ball of Terran Death is going to be taking out the third and probably the fourth here shortly of Next Life. And it looks like these Zerglings and Mutas are going to be taking out these buildings over here. So doing a base trade, and this could be insane. Oh my gosh, if he just gonna raise these Brainlings up, and he does, and that is just devastation for Next Nuclear. That could actually be a huge game changer there. That took out so many forces, and a just massive hit to that ball. Those burrowed Banelings. Oh man, if he had just dropped a sweep there, he could have been saved. But unfortunately for Nuclear, a great sneaky play there by Next Life, and that may actually keep him in this game. I didn't think he was going to be able to take this force out, but now that he has all these Zerglings and all these Mutalisks, the forces of Nuclear are quickly diminishing, and now he's got some Ultralisks coming out. They're going to be coming in with these Zerglings. These Ultralisks are going to be doing some damage on these Marines, but they are going to, looks like they are going to go down, but the Mutalisks coming in are going to reinforce back, and this Terran army is going to be taken out here. He's got Zerglings up in the, oh my gosh, and an intense match for both players. This was an epic match, and it looks like the GG in Korean there from Nuclear, and that is going to be it. So Next Life is going to take this game. I did not think he was going to be able to, Next Life is going to be able to take out that Terran Ball of Death, but he was, with some great burrowed Banelings there, and also just continuing to pump units. So I think his economy just kind of overpowered the Terran player, and he was just able to sneak out a couple small battle victories and get the win overall. So great game by both players. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, subscribe. We'll have more videos coming out soon. This SCV and his moment of death, and I hope you guys enjoyed the vid. I'll see you guys next time. Maintain signing out.